love Paul. I love Unity of New York. I'm privileged to have known Paul for 30 years. Some of you may or may not have heard an album that I did 20-some years ago. I was working with my partner, Johnny Earl. He made his transition in 1991, he made his transition. And the tapes that we did back in the 80s, we were working at Unity on the Bay in Miami. The tapes that we had created together, I had, the few copies that I had, I put on a shelf in my bedroom and tucked them away. I took them away as manifestations of an era that was gone by. I tucked them away as something that worked for that particular time. It worked for the 80s, it worked when we were touring the United States and other places, giving our concerts. But given the fact that Johnny was no longer here, the Carlos and Johnny ministry, for me, had met its end as well. And so I tucked those things away. I actually tucked them away very well. I put them under stuff, I put stuff in front of them. It's like for me, for a while, they were too painful for me to remember. Having lost Johnny was enough for me, but having lost the ministry of music, the opportunity to travel this world, to be at Unity churches, was painful for me for a number of years. After the pain passed, I didn't think of it anymore. It's not that I was in so much pain that I wasn't wanting to hear that music that was created. And it was created through me. It was a gift of the Creator through me. All of the lyrics, most of the songs that we did on our 5 albums were what I call dream songs. I'm very blessed to receive most of my instruction, most of my gifts in dreams. I simply dream that I walk to the front of the stage, I get in front of a microphone, I turn to Johnny and say, hit it, and I dream in detail the harmonies, the melodies, and all of that. At any rate, at some point, my brother Timothy, my adopted brother Timothy, got into that drawer, got to those tapes, and decided that he wanted to create them now from cassette tapes into CDs. I told him that I didn't want that to happen. I adamantly told him no one these days is going to be interested in anything I did in those days. There are so many wonderful ministers of music now. Unity churches, some of them are in completely different eras. I criticized my own voice so intensely that if Timothy put on one of the tapes inside of me, I would go, oh, why did I hold that note like that? Why didn't I open my throat? I said, oh my God, I was so much under the influence of the condo circuit in Florida. Because they would come up to me and they would say, oh, you enunciate so well, you put your T's on and your S's. And so I would go, you know, we can't really understand your partner that much. And so I would like overboard on some of my T's and S's and consonants and all that stuff. So to be honest with you, I was ashamed of the music that I at one time was very blessed with and very proud of. But Timothy has learned through being in my family and knowing me as long as he does that if I just keep saying no to something that he thinks is a good idea for God, to just go on and do it anyway. Like Paul said, those of us who work for God are willing to lie if the lie will bring about a wonderful experience. Like telling someone this is for somebody else, but it's actually for you. So Timothy behind my back created those, and I'm so grateful that he did. I would like to draw attention to anyone who has heard the one CD that Timothy created for me called the 23rd Psalm of David. I can remember the morning I woke up from that dream. I dreamed me walking the stage at Unity on the Bay, which was in Miami. I dreamed that I was marching, and I was filled with the spirit of King David. I began before the song with a mini lesson. And just the gist of that lesson was, I'm thinking about King David, a king who knew he was a king and who knew his word was law. David knew that whenever he spoke the word with authority, his scribe would take down in detail what he had demanded. And his scribe would go throughout the kingdom letting everyone in the kingdom know this is the law of David, to be obeyed by everyone. David had no doubt that he was a king. He had no doubt that his word was law. He had no doubt that everyone and everything in his kingdom he had dominion over. And so he was clear. If I say it, they'll write it down. I will sign it. It will go out, and it will be done. I talked about him saying, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me into the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for I am is with me. I am his rod and staff, they comfort me. I am prepares a table before me, even in the presence of my thoughts of enmity, and anoints my head with oil until my heart can't take it. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord. How long? Forever. I have spoken, it is written, it is law, it is done. I want you to know that I have periods in my life where I speak my prayers with that much authority. I have times in my life where I put out my request to the universe with that much knowing, with the understanding that as far as my domain of experience is concerned, I am the king. And as far as my domain of experience is concerned, my word is law. And that when I speak it, my scribes, which are the invisible qualities of the universe, that go and gather invisible substance, creating the correct circumstances and experience and bringing the correct people in, creates into the manifest realm from the invisible that which I have decreed. None of us are ever without faith. Praying for more faith is a prayer you don't need to pray. Because we have been informed that faith, even the size of a grain of mustard seed, and you can say to a mountain in your life, be thou removed, and it will vanish in the twinkling of an eye. We need to be concerned with being conscious of where we are focusing our faith. I have said before, you are always operating in great faith, and your faith is your power. Your faith is your word that you intend to make flesh in your domain of experience. It's not whether you have a lot of faith or a little faith. It's what are you doing with your faith and where are you focusing your faith. Very simply, you are constantly focusing your faith on a positive outcome, or you are focusing your faith on a negative outcome. There is no neutral in this faith thing. Every day, with every thought, with every feeling, with every concentration, with every meditation, you are focusing your faith. I believe that I said the last time I was here that there's a Chinese coin that has the same symbol on both sides. One symbol interpreted as danger, the other as opportunity. And I've said that these coins keep falling from heaven into my life and into your life. And as I pick up the coin and look at the symbol, it is I who decide what it means for me. Is this experience an opportunity for me to believe I am in danger? Or is this experience an opportunity for me to know I have always an opportunity? One of my sisters, who is a member of this community, said to me after class yesterday, Carlos, I don't know what to do. She said, I have run out of options. The options that she declared for me that she had run out of were all options in the physical realm. They were all manifestations of thought. They were all what can be done physically. I told her there's one thing you need to do. I advise you to do. I've done it all too. Sometimes that's what it took for me to run out of all my options in the manifest realm, the physical world. Because once I was done with that and had no more options there, I had to go to the only place of power, which Paul reminded us of, is the domain of the Creator that is within me. I had to stop thinking that the authority was in the doctor's hands, or in the lawyer's hands, or in the landlord's hands, or in my employer's hands, or in the bank's hands. I had to run out of all those options. I had to have all of them tell me, you're in a fix, buddy. You're in danger. And I knew that when I could find no opportunity to feel opportunity with them, I had to go inside and say, what is it that I am being assigned now to do? Number one is to remember that this is my domain. Nothing is coming from the outside and getting me. I'm the creator of my life experience. What part am I missing? There's an entity group which is called Abraham, a channel, a woman channels him, Esther Terry. And the Abraham group, Abraham speaks. One thing that Abraham reminds me of and reminds you of is it's a three-step process. The first step is that you ask, and because your word is law, because you are as powerful in your own domain as David was in his, when you ask, trust me, the scribes have written it down. The universe that surrounds you and is within you knows you are in authority and immediately begins to put together the answer to your request, to bring you what you want. So our job is to ask, to be clear about what it is that we desire, to be clear that we desire something more than increases of beauty in the physical world, increases of possessions in the physical world, increases of loving relationships. Those will come. But what we were born to do was to seek the domain of power that is within us with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. That's what we were born to do. Because we were born to thrive. And we can only thrive through the continuously changing experiences that come about for each and every one of us as we live our life. We cannot thrive unless we give our attention to putting all of ourselves into making and maintaining contact with the source of power that is within us. As we give our attention to the outside world and try to manipulate people and circumstances and things and money, we may have a chance of surviving, but not thriving. Some of you, and perhaps I, have some moments where what we think we were born to do was to survive, come against us, circumstances, experiences, and our desire is to survive